Hello, my name is Mackenzie Leach, and today I will be presenting my independent study presentation. The topic that I chose to learn more about is medical sociology. According to the American Sociological Association, on the webpage Section to Medical Sociology, last accessed March 28, 2020, medical sociology is defined as providing an analytical framework for understanding the social context of health, illness, and healthcare. This slide shows a video of a student describing some of the topics she has learned, as well as detailing the benefits of studying medical sociology.
So I took a course my sophomore year with Professor Epstein called Health and Biomedicine as Human Concerns. And it was a great class, so everyone should take it if you're at all interested. In the class we talked about different health inequalities, the complex relationships between doctors, patients, and nurses, and the various ways in which social factors can influence health and disease. And while it's obvious to everyone that people have different responses, both biologically and emotionally, to health problems, the class really encouraged me to think about why this is the case. So for instance, why do people become stigmatized for having certain diseases like HIV or AIDS, and how does this influence their likelihood of seeking medical attention? Yeah, I think medical schools don't just want students who can crunch numbers and work in labs. They want people who are diverse and who can see things from a broad perspective and really challenge the information that's presented to them. And I think sociology does just this. And I'm really glad that I ended up choosing sociology, and I think it's made me a more well-rounded person and ultimately will help me to become a better, more compassionate doctor someday.
Now that I have given information about what medical sociology is, I will now answer the question, what do medical sociologists do? According to David Mechanic for healthaffairs.org, on the webpage, The Role of Sociology in Health Affairs, last updated spring of 1990, medical sociological endeavors tend to follow two streams: sociology in medicine and sociology of medicine. Sociology in medicine are sociologists who are applied investigators or technicians seeking to answer questions of interest to their sponsors, whether government agencies, foundations, hospitals, or medical schools. Sociology of medicine are sociologists who focus on testing sociological hypotheses, using medicine as an arena for studying basic issues in social stratification, power and influence, social organization, socialization, and the broad context of social values. Now, on to the question, what can you do with medical sociology? Medical sociology is a specialized field of sociology and typically requires, at the minimum, a master's degree. With that being said, according to study.com on their webpage, Careers for Medical Sociology, last updated September 30th of 2019, you could work as a professor teaching in universities, you could write for scholarly journals, you could do outside consulting work, you could conduct research studies, or even work as a hospital administrator. These are just a few possibilities that the career holds. I will now present a video of Dr. Louise Lowlock, who is the Deputy Research Director of a Health Experiences Research Group.
Our aim is to understand what it's like for people who have particular illnesses or conditions or health choices to make, and use the results to help other people going through the same thing. In that time, we've covered around 70 different health conditions and topics, and conducted around 3,000 interviews, which we now hold in our archive. We get around 5 to 8 million hits a month, depending on the month, on the website. And we've been able to use the results to inform clinicians about what it's like for people experiencing an illness, as well as to help people themselves going through the same thing. Inspiring stories of how people have overcome illness can be good and they can be helpful, and we would always want to include those people in whatever we do, but not everyone responds well to that. For some people it's more important to see somebody else talking about how bad they felt and how difficult they found it and how miserable they feel now, so that they're reassured that their response to illness is normal. Doctors have a particular role when they're talking to a patient, which is to find out what's wrong with them and to help find the right treatment. They often don't have time or space to ask them about the kind of impact it's having on their wider life, so we hope we can provide some material to help fill that gap. The project grew out of discussions between two old friends who both happen to be doctors about their own personal experience of illness, and realising that the boot was on the other foot and they knew all there was to know about the medical facts, but actually didn't know what to expect as human beings and how this was going to impact on their wider life, their family, their sense of self. And so they thought it would be interesting to try to capture stories from lots of different people about what it was like for them. They came into contact with academics who were used to doing qualitative interviews with people to find out about their experiences, and the project grew from there to become a huge award-winning programme of research. What's exciting is we're now at the stage with 70 conditions covered, where we have enough information to start thinking about how we can use it for different purposes. So we really feel that the work that we've amassed has now got the potential to make a real difference to decisions that are being made at all kinds of levels, from individual patient through to the individual doctor and patient, right up to government and all levels in between.
So is this
It is amazing that something that started round a kitchen table has become something so huge and potentially so influential, with millions of people looking at it, and the opportunity to influence government and the NHS, and that's really gratifying for the research team. There aren't many research jobs where you feel that you're having such a direct impact, as well as doing the usual academic things such as publishing in peer-reviewed journals and going to conferences. And I can honestly say it's the best research job I've ever had.
I am interested in studying cancer in the field of medical sociology, particularly how race and ethnicity, education level, location, nutrition, and financial status individually and collectively play a factor in cancer. For example, individuals who live in rural areas do not have access to as many health providers as those who live in metropolitan areas. Also, those who do not have health insurance may prolong seeking treatment for an illness, and they are at greater risk of going bankrupt from medical debt and possibly even dying. This next video shows Dr. Nadine Barrett, a woman who earned her PhD in medical sociology and race and ethnic relations. She tells her story and she gives more information about what she does at the Duke Cancer Institute.
My name is Dr. Nadine Barrett, and this is my Duke Cancer story. I am a British and American citizen. My culture is Jamaican, and I came to Duke in 2011, actually. I've been here now 7 years, and in those 7 years, my focus has really been addressing health disparities and how do we improve access to care. If you think about those who are doing the worst in any type of health outcome, and particularly in the case of cancer, if we improve those who are doing the worst, we actually move the ladder up for everyone. And so the more that we can identify opportunities to make sure our therapies are relevant and effective for all diverse populations, ensuring that everyone has access to great cancer care, including the education, the screening, the treatment, survivorship, and end-of-life and palliative care, those things are critical. Oftentimes when we find people who show up at our cancer centers with advanced stage disease, oftentimes it's because they didn't know that they should have been getting screened. They didn't get access to the education and the awareness that they needed. So we have community-facing navigators that actually are working with our community and our community organizations, our faith organizations, our civic organizations, to be able to identify people who are hardly reached, identify them, engage with them, and ensure that they have the resources, the information, and the tools that they need to know when they should get screened for any particular type of cancer, where they could get screened, and if they don't have insurance, how do they get the insurance that they need to be able to get that. We also navigate them once they've gotten screened, that if they get diagnosed, we have internal navigators as part of our longitudinal navigation model, and they actually help those patients as they go through their cancer journey. So again, philanthropy has played a huge part in that.
Today, I have discussed what medical sociology is, what medical sociologists do, career options in the field, and the research I'm interested in. Thank you for listening to my presentation.